Oh yeah, it helps if my microphones are like not off. But yeah. All right. Hopefully folks can hear me um and can hear the game. This game has a really phenomenal soundtrack, so I don't want to lose that. But here we are. We can get started. And oh yes, let me give you the content warning for this game because that's pretty important in this game and especially on this stream. But yeah, here we are. Right. Let's get started. So when it'll play us the intro, but we finished chapter 1 last time, and we absolutely stayed at Stella's, and we absolutely saved Gretchen. And we were street smart and book smart. Oh yes, and we did not call the police. This is the big difference in this run through so far from the previous run through. We did not call the cops. So let's see how that goes. All right. So where is end of episode 1, episode 2 awaits. Yep, we did save our game. Let's look at a recap of episode 1, just so that we have some memory of what was going on. Long lost cousin. The bad news, the 26 hours of bus rides with countless late night stops in seated depots. It felt unsafe even in the middle of the day. You wouldn't normally find yourself traveling like this, but your cousin bought the tickets. The funeral of Pearl and Scarlett. Your cousin's mother and your aunt seemed like something you shouldn't ignore, even considering your own late mother's rocky relationship with this side of the family. You know, that implies that there's another side of the family that she had contact with, which is unlike the Scarletts. Welcome to our family's humble estate. This is Cousin Tabitha. Unfortunately, due to the current state of the house, only a few rooms will be safely accessible during your stay. I wouldn't go wandering anywhere else if you value your limbs. The floors have been known to give out. So, has Stella mentioned she's famous? Asked Avery. They are very cool. Oh Avery, I'm not famous. Look, if you're not going to go around tooting your own horn, you know I'm going to do it for you. Stella sighs. I'm a YouTuber. She hunts cryptids. And then we go on a cryptid hunt with her, but instead we find a deer with a weird tumor. A single deer remained behind, staring down the beam of Stella's flashlight, while Gretchen whines and pulls at her harness. You'll eat those words when I come carrying a mountain lion corpse out of the woods at dawn, said Duke. Poor Duke. And then bad things happened to Duke. Come on, you, whatever your name is, grab that flashlight and help me line up a good shot. As the creature in the tree line grow louder and more numerous, Gretchen violently strains against her harness. We had to choose between Gretchen and helping Duke. We chose to help Gretchen. You dive forward and scoop Gretchen into your arms just before she manages to wriggle out of her harness. Your eyes fixate on the dark tree line over Duke's shoulder. God damn it! And Duke met up at an end. We did not call the cops, and we went to talk to Stella's friend Kanika's mom, Sybil. And in the parking lot nearby her house, this dude appeared and was like, "Welcome home." It was very creepy. We talked to Kanika and Sybil, and we showed them the video of what happened in the woods. My grandmother called them ditchlings, and they're a terrible omen, a sign of great suffering and destruction to come. That's what those things in the woods were. From the comfort of Stella's guest room, the events of the past evening seem like something that happened to someone else. Though you can still clearly picture the terror you felt in those moments, for now, you're safe and you're warm. Tuesday morning awaits. Terrifying. Alright, I guess let's wake up on Tuesday morning. You open your eyes. The sun has risen, the birds are singing, you're still alive for now, you're safe. Body, why are we suddenly having a dry throat? No goodness, I just realized that Stella has like a little statuette of Gretchen on her whatever this is, cupboard there. Your gaze wanders across the unfamiliar room to the window and the woods beyond, and you wonder if the monsters are lurking just beyond the trees, ready to pounce as soon as you leave the comfort of your new friend's family home. You can't help but remember Duke slumped against a tree, pieces of him scattered across the clearing. Ugh. A knock at the front door. Your morbid thoughts are interrupted by a distinctly unhappy voice filtering through the house and past the closed door of your bedroom. Where the hell is T'Pow? Oh, hey, Tabby. There's a fresh pot of coffee on the table if you want. Come in. No, I'm just here to check on my cousin. Let's make this quick. I have a lot on my plate today. You're barely decent. It might be mildly scandalous if people saw you like this. Okay. Let's be... You calmly collect yourself while Tabitha fumes outside your door. Are you sure you don't want to visit for a bit? You don't have to run around from being the big boss this week of all weeks. You should let yourself... I'm fine. Thanks. T'Pow, I know you're here. Where the hell are you hiding? Now, sufficiently prepared to greet other civilized humans, you open the door and join them in the living room. Gretchen excitedly looks at you and wiggles her tail. Because, you know, of course she does. She's Gretchen. Obviously. Duh. Alright. Where were we? Morning. How'd you sleep? Tabitha is fuming. What exactly did you two of you get up to last night? We went up to the woods to film a video. Never mind, I don't actually want to know. What I do want to know is why on earth you decided to blow me off to spend the night with a stranger. Hey, don't be so hard on T'Pow. I asked her to crash here. And last night was a lot, Tabby. There's something horrible out in those woods, and I don't think anyone in this room wanted T'Pow walking up that mountain alone last night. Stella, would you mind giving me a moment alone with my cousin? And while you're at it, please stop calling me Tabby. We're not in high school anymore. Yeah, all right. Sorry, Stella, but I should probably talk to Tabitha in private. Yep, totally understandable. Just let me know when you're done. Thanks. You've been in town for less than a day and my stress is already through the roof. I mean, I get it. Stella got you all worked up and you were too scared to walk home. Sure, whatever. That checks out. But I don't care if those woods are chock full of ghouls and ghosties. You had me worried sick. From now on, you're back at the estate by bedtime. No more impromptu sleepovers. Tabitha, I watched a man die last night. Cut me some slack. Look, I have no idea what happened in the woods, but if that's true, it's all the more reason to head back to the estate before it gets dark. I'm leaving. I've already lost a good chunk of my workday coming down here. I expect to see you back at the estate tonight. You hear Stella's voice call out from another room. Wait, Tabby, let me know if you're free sometime, okay? Tabitha sighs. You're relentless. We'll see, but don't get your hopes up. Hey, no need to catch me up. I was listening in from the other room. Sorry I let you get ambushed. Tabby showing up like that blindsided me. I don't regret anything here, but you're right, that sucked. And it's not like I didn't let her know where I was. Last night was a lot. I don't think anyone can blame you for crashing here. Tabby just doesn't get what we went through. Who would, honestly? And for the record, I'm happy you stayed too. Anyway, sorry for that rude awakening. I'd been up for a little while, but was hoping to let you get a little extra sleep. Well, you're up now, and we've got a full day ahead of us if we're going to get to the bottom of this. How are you so chipper? You shouldn't be okay right now. I guess I'm just pretty good at compartmentalizing things. What happened out in the woods last night was horrific, but right now we have something important to focus on. I'll have time to process what happened to Duke when we get to the bottom of things. Well, this is thematically appropriate for our stream. You shouldn't just bury your feelings like that. What happened to Duke last night would mess with anyone. I get that, but I'm fine, really. At least for now. I can process this in my own time. Alright. Let's be Booksmart. Hard agree. I've been itching to get to the library. Ugh, my hair. Awesome, because that's exactly where we're heading. It sounds like Kanika's already there, too. Oh, let me set up a group chat. What's your number? You and Stella exchange numbers. Haha. A text message from Stella to you and Kanika. It reads, Group chat. Hopefully we can find out more about ditchlings from some of the older local books there. I've also got a couple of threads cooking on my cryptid forums, but who knows if that'll pan out. Anyway, daylight's burning, so let's roll out as soon as you finish getting dressed. Can I eat first? Don't worry about it. I've packed all sorts of snacks for the day, and Oscar totally won't mind if we eat at the library. You're right, but those snacks better be good. As if you ever need to worry. The walk to town was short. Stella's house is barely a stone's throw from what remains of Scarlett Hollow's once bustling main street. You shudder as you stare down the thoroughfare, both from the chill in the morning air and the all-too-present memories of everything you witnessed last night. You see that building labeled Town Hall? That's actually the library. Well, it's also the town hall, but that's just a small upstairs office nowadays. I guess that this town's not what it used to be. That and our mayor's really into going on walks. I think there's actually going to be a meet and greet later this week. Could be just the pickup we need, what with everything that's been going on. Sounds fun. I'd love to meet the mayor. Sweet, you won't regret it. Oh, hey, Avery called out. Morning, Stella, and same to you, T'Pow. Speak of the devil, we were just talking about you. Coming from Stella's, huh? Did y'all have a slumber party? Sorry, y'all, but I'm actually in a bit of a rush this morning. I really can't stop to chat. It'll take me a bit to set up, so if you want to catch up with folks or grab something at the diner, you can meet me at the library when you're done. You gesture towards Avery and Sybil and give Stella a thumbs up. Cool. See you soon. Whoa, she always has time to chat. Is she feeling okay? Oh, Stella and T'Pow just got up to a bit of trouble last night, that's all. You can't just drop something like that and leave me hanging. What happened, T'Pow? Let's see. We bumped into Duke a couple of times while we were out there, and he had a hunting accident. Whoa, what? Is he okay? No. I'm afraid Duke is no longer with us, Avery. Morning, Box Puppy. How are you? I am doing a kickoff to my 1 month long NAMI fundraiser, which I did this whole big intro thing about before you got here. But NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we're doing a fundraiser. It's kind of low key. There's like that Tiltify bar at the bottom of the screen, but yeah, we are trying to raise funds for mental health awareness and NAMI, which is a pretty darn good charity overall. And of course, to go with mental health awareness, I decided to go with a horror game full of trigger warnings. Of course, obviously. But so far, we've woken up at Stella's house, got yelled at by Tabby, and just told Stella we'll catch up in a moment at the library, but you know, about to talk. So far, we told Avery that Duke had a hunting accident. Ooh, breakfast. I haven't had breakfast yet. I'm gonna stream until noon, and then I have a D&D game at 12:30, I think, though it might get canceled. I'm not sure. And I'm gonna try to figure out food in between those two things. Alright, so. Holy crap. I can't believe this is the first I've heard of it. Has anyone told Bo? Yes, he's taking it as well as you can imagine. I'm going up to check on him today, the poor lad. I can't believe you had to see that, pal. Tell you what, I'm on break for the next half hour. How about you swing by the diner when he can fix you some of Sybil's new blend and try to calm your nerves? It's chaga and lemon balm. It's always helped me on the bad days. And if you need to talk about what happened, I'm all ears. Anyway, it's up to you. See you around, pal. See you, Sybil. Take care now, Avery. Ooh, a new achievement. Keep your secrets. I see you're a private person. I can respect that. You never know how someone might respond to hearing the truth of what you encountered last night. I'd better get back to it myself. I'm glad I was able to catch you this morning, if only to see how you were holding up. Please don't hesitate to stop by if I can be of any help. What aren't you telling us? You're awfully relaxed given everything you told us last night. Don't mistake my calm demeanor for complacency. We all have our parts to play in this. Oh yeah, that's not ominous at all, Sybil. I've shared what I know in the ditchlings, and I trust you and Stella have what it takes to get to the bottom of things. I'm so sorry to cut our conversation short, but I've got things that need tending to. Stay safe, pal, and God bless. Ugh. God bless. Stella said you had some time to kill before she finished setting up. Okay, so we can swing by the diner, or the general store, or the library. If we go to the general store, I think that's when we run into Bo and Miles. Let's go to the general store. I think this is not an Avery kind of time. This is your first time seeing the general store in the light of day. A young man sits at the table by the register, too preoccupied with his phone to care that you stepped in. Offer him my boiled peanuts. You should leave town. There's monsters in the woods. Hi, I'm Pao. If I wanted to buy chips or something, do I talk to you? What you doing on your phone? You should get out of town. There are monsters in the woods. I'm serious. Something bad is gonna happen, and you should get out of here as soon as possible. You've been talking to my mom too much. Hi, I'm Pao. I just got to town yesterday. Yeah, I know. Mom told me. What's your name? Miles. So if I wanted to buy some chips or something here, do I talk to you or... Miles sighs. I guess, yeah. Kanika decided to skip work today, so of course whatever plans I had didn't matter. Just take the chips. I don't care. Wow. Wouldn't that be stealing? If Kanika cares about running this place right, she can hire someone else and let me live my life. She inherited the store, and I don't want to keep getting suckered into working here just because I'm her brother. We make most of our money on bulk orders anyway. A bag of chips doesn't make a difference. I'm gonna tell Kanika about this. Oh, come on. No one likes a snitch. I was just joking anyway. Jeez. Kanika knows I joke like that all the time. She's not gonna care. What you doing on your phone? Games. You probably hadn't heard of them. You're probably right. See ya, Miles. Miles does not respond as you turn and leave the general store. Now, I guess we can swing by the diner as well. You head towards the diner. Might as well do all the things. Diner's a little quiet today, but the air is still heavy with the tantalizing smell of breakfast. I don't think I'm going to warn the patrons about the danger. I think I'm just going to talk to Avery. You slide into the booth across from Avery. Hey there, stranger. Before you can exchange words, Winnie sidles up, a fresh mug of tea in hand. Heard you might need this. The answer to 29 down is oink, by the way. What? But the clue is pen sound. How is that a sound a pen makes? Wait, pen like pig pen? Are you kidding me? How was I supposed to guess that? I don't know why you even bother with these things. They're just gonna frustrate you. It's just something to do to fill the time, but maybe I should switch to Sudoku. Winnie leaves Avery contemplating daily newspaper puzzles, returning to his seat behind the counter. So, what the hell really happened last night? You can tell me. I won't judge. You hesitantly take a sip of your tea. It tastes like you're drinking mold that someone tried to unsuccessfully spruce up with lemon balm. You take another sip. The flavor is strong and slightly unpleasant, but something that tastes this bad must be good for you. Wow, not a lot of folks take the chaga so quickly. It's a fungus that grows on birch trees around here, supposedly super healthy, and it makes for a challenging drink. Color me impressed. I could tell you about last night, but what if you don't believe me? I'm not here to judge, I'm here to listen. Yeah, sure. You spill the beans, glad to have someone to talk to about the horrors you've witnessed. Wow, that is some heavy stuff. No wonder Stella seemed distant. Monsters in the woods. I may not have lived here long, but I've never heard of anything like that happening around these parts. Can't say I like the thought of it. I hadn't pegged you as a transplant. Where are you from? I moved here from Charlotte. Gosh, 3 years ago now? Maybe a little more? I've lost track. Aunt Winnie offered me a place to stay and a job, and who was I to pass on that sort of generosity? To be honest, it still feels like I just moved in. Practically everyone, apart from the Cole folks, grew up in this town, so it's like I'm the perpetual new kid. Don't get me wrong, folks here are plenty polite and friendly, but there's a shared history I'll never be a part of. Why'd you leave Charlotte, if you don't mind me asking? Nah, it's cool. I was having some issues with my folks about my education, which wasn't great, especially since I was still stuck under their roof. When my aunt heard about it, she offered me a job and a place to stay, and the rest is history. Do you regret moving here? I don't think I have the choice to have second thoughts. I'm not going anywhere without Aunt Winnie, and there's no way she's leaving this place. I get it. I felt out of place the whole time I've been here. All one day of it. Folks on the whole have been plenty friendly, but life here is so different than what I'm used to. It's hard to explain, but I just don't feel like I belong. Exactly. There are worse ways to be, but I'm not sure I'll ever entirely feel like I belong here. Okay. We're on the case, but I hardly know where to start. Let me know if you hear anything. Definitely. Oh man, it looks like my shift is starting. Hopefully, the Chagas had the chance to start working its magic. The diner is where everyone comes to gossip, so I hear a lot about what goes on around here. I'll let you know if anyone mentions those monsters or anything else strange or unusual. Avery slips out of the booth, giving a friendly half-wave before disappearing into the back. You leave the diner, ready to continue your day. Guess let's head to the library. Alright, so before we super continue stuff, let me just again mention that I am doing a fundraiser for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And they are a grassroots organization that helps build acceptance and understanding for mental illness, which I think is sorely lacking in our country, this being United States, in case anybody's international, both with our not so wonderful health insurance and healthcare system, but also just in general with people having a lot of misunderstanding, and then there's a lot of stigma about mental illness, and there really shouldn't be. Again, like I said, your brain is an organ just like your heart and your lungs, and we don't make fun of people of having problems with their hearts and lungs, so we should really be a lot better about how we treat people who are having problems with their brain. And yeah, like, for real, folks, we are fundraising, and let's just as a society be better about mental illness, because the more we treat it the way we do, the worse it is going to be. And especially with, the great COVID panini happening, we really need to be much more understanding and much more useful and helpful to our friends and family and neighbors and, frankly, strangers. So hence the fundraising. All right. In the meanwhile, if your brain is making the chemicals it needs on its own, then if your brain is not making the chemicals it needs to on its own, then store-bought will do. Exactly. Just like, when your pancreas is not making the chemicals it needs to, you get insulin, and nobody makes fun of you for it, outside of maybe 5-year-olds, and they are told not to. Right? And there's no difference. There's zero difference between the chemicals your pancreas makes and the chemicals your brain makes. They're both needed to make your body function, but for one, we get treatment and a prescription, and everybody's like, "Aw, you can't have all the candy you want anymore." This is an oversimplification. But for the other, everybody's like, "Oh, you're just weak and stupid," right? Like, we are terrible about it. We should be better. And that's part of why I'm doing fundraising. I know, rousing speech. I am not very good at that part, but that's okay. You know what? That's okay. All right, let's explore this town hall / library. I would like to draw attention to some. Oops. Come on, window. Do not get away. To some of the things that I can see here. So first of all, here is a picture of somebody literally getting run out of town on a rail, which is hilariously literal. They're all kind of like this bunch of miners. They're carrying him tied to a rail. The children are very happy, and there's a big fire. That's probably important. And then we've got the library cat here, the reading adventure corner, various portraits of probably important people. This one looks like a portrait of somebody whose portrait is also at the estate. And then this weird location with a giant arrow pointing up that I don't know anything about. But yeah, mostly this painting. I love this painting. You enter the former town hall. What once must have been a stately foyer has since become converted into rows of shelves. Meeting rooms and offices long ago gave way to assorted reference collections and reading areas. Booksmart. This is a good place. Oh, hey, you made it. Settling with Stella. Shush Stella, point out all the books before heading over. Yeah, you quietly shush Stella before heading over to her and Kanika's table. This is a library. Glad you found the place. Hey, pal, you look tired. Oh my god, Kanika's laptop has a Madoka Magica sticker. OMG. And Stella is wearing a San Antonio, Texas Ghost Tracks shirt, which is also hilarious. Alright. Oh, we have got to snitch on Miles. Oh, before I forget, I met your brother Miles. When I went to buy some chips, he tried to make me steal them. Pow, you can't just snitch on someone like that. Ugh. Asked him to cover the store for one day, and he can't even be bothered to do that. Typical. I'm paying him, you know. It's no wonder he's chronically unemployed. Anyway, I guess we should get started. Okay, isn't he like 14? I don't think you're chronically unemployed when you're 14. I think you're just a minor in school. She really is an anime nerd. She was wearing a Sailor Moon shirt before. Kanika is my kind of people. At 15 or 16. Okay, you know what? Even if you're 16, you're still not chronically unemployed. You're still like in school. You might have a part-time job, but you're not chronically unemployed. Anyway, I guess we should get started. Hey there, strangers. And literal stranger. Ooh, let's offer him. You extend your bag of peanuts to the librarian in a gesture of friendship and good faith. I don't know what to say. Is this a gift? I'm allergic to peanuts. Not serious allergic, but they give me a rash. Hey, Oscar. This is T'Pau. You know, Tabby's cousin. Oh, I should have known you were a Scarlett. You look so much like Vivian. Not that I knew her very well. I was still a little kid when she left. But that Scarlet resemblance, it's, strong. I'm Oscar Gutierrez, chief librarian, and, only librarian. Yeah, hives are terrible. Yeah, that's like, it's, people, like, say, oh, it's no big deal. They only get hives, because I guess it's better than anaphylactic reaction, but, hives are no fun. At all. Oscar's amazing. He practically built this library from scratch. Yeah, I'm a little jealous of what the kids around here get to grow up with. They don't know how good they have it. Back when I was in elementary school, all the library had was a couple of shelves of boring books donated by old people. Y'all are too kind. But speaking of kids, have either of you seen Rosalina around town? I don't want to be a helicopter dad, but she's hasn't been answering my texts, and I wanted to make sure she isn't getting into trouble out there. You know, the crowd she hangs around with. They're good kids at heart. I'm sure they're just up at the old Maxwell place doing teen stuff. I went up there plenty of times in my day, but I'll be sure to keep my eyes peeled. What's the old Maxwell place? It's this great old abandoned spot. We used to hang out there when we were teens. I can't believe I used to be so reckless. The floors there were like Swiss cheese. I should really have a talk with Rosalina when she gets home. Kids are smarter than you think. She can take care of herself. You might not want to let her run off like that anymore, though. It's not as safe as it usually is around here. Is that so? Kanika's right. There's some weird stuff going on out in the woods. It's actually why we came in today. Have you ever heard of creatures called ditchlings? They're a type of cryptid that shows up around places in the brink of disaster. They kind of look like if the Pillsbury Doughboy was a creepypasta. Kanika's mom told us about them last night after seeing some footage we got in the woods. Ditchlings? Doesn't ring a bell. Dang. Worth a shot. Okay, if you were, say, trying to predict a horrible disaster that might befall our town, where would you start looking? Well, they say history repeats itself, so I'd probably try to figure out what sort of disasters this region typically falls prey to. Should I be worried about something? I don't know yet. I'll be right back. Gotta go nab some more books. Behave while I'm gone, Gretchen. Oh, you don't have to worry about her, Stella. You're such a good dog, aren't you, Gretchen? Here, have a biscuit, old gal. Gretchen inhales the soft biscuit, drool leaking from her toothless mouth as she swallows it whole. I'm pretty sure Estella's barking up the wrong tree, Oscar. I don't think you have to worry about any horrible calamity befalling the town, but she's right about the weird stuff. There's definitely something unusual going on out in the woods. A man's already died. I'd say it's plenty reasonable to play it safe. I'm gonna try calling Rosalina again. I'm sure she's fine, really. Rosalina's a smart kid. She knows better than to go getting into trouble. And we'll make sure to keep our eyes peeled. Thanks, Kanika. And Pow, if you see a 13-year-old girl with a black braid and glasses, would you let her know their dad is worried about her? Oscar anxiously wanders off, phone in hand. Got him. Just grabbed a whole mess of local history books. Stella sets a massive pile of books on the table and pulls up a chair. All right. Got our snacks, got our source documents. Let's get the research party started. This is going to be so much faster with the two of you here to help out. We'll be doing most of my research online. You never know what kind of weird biases the folks writing these books might have. Whatever you find online might be biased too, you know. Oh, let's look at... Oh, well, so she has a cute bat. That's adorable. Which is why we cross-reference things. Yeah, you're right. It's good to cast a wide net. Guess the books are up to me and Pow. Reading awaits. Okay. I remember that Booksmart lets me actually read the books and get lots of info, and I'm very excited about this. Historical Buildings of Scarlett Hollow. Just the thought of reading a book like this would probably put most people to sleep. But you've got a mystery to solve, and to solve it, you need to know everything there is to know about this town. The Scarlett Estate. Inarguably the most striking piece of architecture in Scarlett Hollow, and the most elaborate and elegant estate in the region prior to the construction of the Biltmore in 1895. Andrew Jackson Scarlett chose the location to be atop a hill in Scarlett Hollow's geographic center, so that it might be seen from the town below. It remains a constant reminder of the family who carved Scarlett Hollow from the wilderness and provided wealth and prosperity to its residents. First used as a field hospital during the Civil War, it was named for Silas Scarlett's eldest son, who perished in a bloody conflict. It still stands at the end of what is now the residential district of Scarlett Hollow and has served the health of the community for over 100 years. In the late 1800s, as the town prospered from a coal boom, additions were built onto the house and it was opened as a change-of-air clinic, bringing in prestigious clientele from around the world. They believed the fresh mountain air would do them well, and Scarlett Hollow became a tourist destination for patients of all afflictions. The clinic still operates to this day as a doctor's office, and stands as a building of cultural significance. The original mining facility is no longer standing, having been destroyed in the collapse of 1918. Though the new facility, outfitted with all the cutting-edge technologies of the industry, is in itself a fine example of practical construction, the first iteration of the mining camp was a true product of its time, and what few photographs exist are an interesting peek back at the different era. One can still visit the site of the original Scarlett coal mine, though all that remains are a few abandoned tunnels closed off to the public. This is the Tremaine Homestead. Situated on the edge of Scarlett Hollow's farmlands, the Tremaine Homestead was one of the earliest settlements in Scarlett Hollow, predating even the town's famous coal mines. For many decades, the Tremaine family maintained the largest farm in Scarlett Hollow, but a break in the family led them to split the land in two, and the homestead along with it. Despite the many changes made to the two halves of the Tremaine homestead in the subsequent decades, the original log structures are still visible and maintained to this day. They are undoubtedly the oldest buildings left standing in Scarlett Hollow. Okay, church. One of the first buildings constructed by the Scarlett family, the Scarlett Hollow First Baptist Church still sits in its original foundation, though the building was reconstructed to accommodate the influx of citizens during the Scarlett Hollow coal boom in the late 1800s. Attendance has dwindled since the infamous mine collapse of 1918, and while the building may have fallen into disrepair, its simple vaulted ceilings still evoke awe to any who enter. I feel like the church is probably going to be important. Silas Scarlett personally funded the town hall's construction as the first municipal building in the then small community of Scarlett Hollow. It has stood at the end of Main Street since before the Civil War, its white columned edifice withstanding the ravages of the 1860s and continuing to stand to this day, a stunning piece of antebellum architecture. So, we know that it has a seal in it. Well, yeah, like we know that the library has a seal, we know that the mine has a seal, we think the hospital has a seal. So the question is, did the seal get put in the basement of the town hall, or did the town hall get built on top of the seal? After the town of Scarlett Hollow switched to a dog mayor system of governance in the 20s, the building has been put to different use, though the upstairs still house the town archives and a special ceremonial office for events with the mayor. So the mayor of Scarlett Hollow is a dog, like an actual, literal dog. You're done here. You close the book and put it back. Let's read about the coal mine. Forced into retirement at age 50 due to a war injury from his time in the Indian Wars, exacerbated by his short stint serving as captain in the Confederacy, Silas Scarlett also lost his eldest two sons to that bloodiest of wars, leaving his third eldest son, Andrew Jackson Scarlett, to take charge of the mine. Under his leadership, the mine prospered, undoubtedly in part due to the growth of the railroad industry. Managed to evade the coal union for decades, making them one of the most profitable mines in the country. Andrew Scarlett built the surrounding town into what it is today, with expensive stone buildings, a bustling main street, and overseeing it all, the elegant Scarlett estate that was, until 1889, the largest and finest feat of architecture in the region. Culminating in the tragic collapse of 1918. It was found that Charles Shaw, the co-manager of the mine, had loosened security measures to increase production during World War I, resulting in a fatal collapse and the deaths of over 160 men and boys, some as young as 10. Yeah. The casualties included Andrew Jackson Scarlett's eldest son, Theodore, who had taken over for his aging father during the bustle of the war. His brother, Enoch Scarlett, managed to pull the mine from the brink of ruin, thereby saving the town. Oh, Enoch. So this is how your family made its fortune. Okay, well, I guess let's learn about Silas. Silas Everett Scarlett was born to Colonel Everett Scarlett in 1818, one of 12 siblings he grew up in. You know what? So if Silas was born in 1818, and the mine collapsed in 1918, and this game I think takes place in 2018, I'm just thinking that's probably not too much of a coincidence. Anyway, he was one of 12 siblings. He grew up in eastern North Carolina during a tumultuous time in the state's history, and not much is known about his life before he joined the Army in 1836. He quickly rose through the ranks, in part due to his father's connections, but also due to a particular ruthlessness, for which he received the nickname Bloody Silas Scarlett. The federal government granted the now Captain Silas a tract of bounty land in exchange for his service in the Indian War, and he settled into the hills of North Carolina in 1841. That land would become Scarlett Hollow. But it started as a simple log cabin built by Silas's own two hands, occupied by his family of 10, Silas, his wife Mary Joseph Scarlett, and their 8 children. Logging business brought many workers and fellow landlords to the hills, but it wasn't until Silas discovered rich seams of coal running underneath the entire region that Scarlett Hollow really put on the map. Enoch's brother was in charge when the collapse happened, but didn't know about the wood being shot, and was killed with the others. No, not fishy at all. When I played this through with Mystic and Booksmart, in the mines, the vision that I got was much bigger than I think you get without being Mystic. So we saw Charles Shaw basically saying, we can't use that shipment. It's shoddy. You promised we wouldn't use it. And Enoch basically saying, nope, we can't not use it. Like, we gotta make our quotas or whatever. So we know that it was Enoch's fault. But yeah. He saved what he could and bought the surrounding hillside at a great discount, cleverly hiding what he knew about the land's true value. Okay, so he lied and cheated. Got it. Thus, he had all the resources to found Scarlett Hollow's now famous coal mine. Okay, you're finished with this one. Appalachian folk monsters. And few entries catch your eye. Ooh, the Mothman is a large flying creature, generally described as humanoid with glowing red eyes. It was first spotted by a couple in West Virginia in the mid-1960s and was encountered in the region several more times in the following years. The Silver Bridge collapse of 1967 have been linked to a series of Mothman sightings, and it's said the presence of the creature served as some sort of omen or were the catalyst that led to the disaster. This has since become an important aspect of Mothman. Like having such a dry throat problem today. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? This has since become an important aspect of Mothman, with sightings of the cryptid often taken as a sign that some great misfortune is soon to follow. Through the Pine Barrens, the place where this creature is said to have been born, far from the Appalachian wilderness, sightings of the Jersey Devil have been documented all throughout the forests of the eastern United States. According to popular legend, the Jersey Devil was born to a woman named Jane Leeds. Leeds, upon realizing that she was pregnant with her 13th child, and daunted by the task of giving birth yet again, cursed the child in her womb, proclaiming it would be the devil itself. Though born as a normal child, it quickly transformed, gaining a goat or horse's head, large bat wings, and a forked devil's tail. Kicking at the family and lashing out with its tail, it flew up the chimney and out into the night, disappearing into the Pine Barrens. The Jersey Devil is one of the oldest cryptids in North American history, with sightings spanning back through the 1800s, all the way to the origin of the myth in the late 1700s. It's said to move with incredible speed and is recognizable by its high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. Woman doesn't want to have 13th child saddled onto her by husband. News at 11. Sigh. Ginseng babies. When you take a mandrake root and you file off the serial numbers, it's safe to say life was hard in the South after the Civil War. The land and its people had been ravaged by conflict, and many turned to unusual industries to get by. One such industry was that of the ginseng diggers, or sand diggers, as they were colloquially known, who eked out a meager living for themselves by digging up and selling wild American ginseng. Myths surrounded sang diggers were plentiful, but most prominent among them was that of the ginseng baby. It was said that if you dig up a ginseng root in the night of the new moon, it will cry like an infant and leave blood in the earth where it's torn from. The parallels to European mandrake myths are clear, and it can be assumed this myth arose from cross-pollination from European immigrants. But perhaps on the night of the new moon, you should go out and dig up a ginseng root, see if it cries, and check the earth for its blood. Creepy. For it could be that the myth spread not through legend passed down through immigrant families, but from the unsettling experiences of these Appalachian foragers. One of the most famous hauntings in North American history, the Bell Witch, was a strange entity that plagued the citizens of the Red River region of Tennessee in the early 1800s. Many strange phenomena had been attributed to the witch through the years, but the most famous was the haunting of the Bell family. It started out as a fairly typical haunting, with unnatural sounds echoing through the house after sundown, and the appearance of a strange mammal that no one could identify or capture. Unlike other hauntings, though, these acts quickly escalated to attacks on the family, and in particular the daughter, Elizabeth Bell. She was constantly covered in bruises from the spirit's abuse. Or, her parents, but we don't talk about that. The spirit could frequently be heard speaking through the walls, its disembodied voice mocking the family and any visitor, and it eventually escalated to giving full-blown hallucinations to those dwelling in the Bell house. Though this haunting ended in the early 1800s, its activity continued in the region for many decades. It could be that the entity known as the Bell Witch may still dwell in the Red River region to this day. The Hopkinsville Goblins case was a supposedly close encounter with extraterrestrials in the 50s near Hopkinsville, Kentucky. During the incident, 5 adults and 7 children arrived at the local police station claiming that a group of small, chrome creatures had besieged their farmhouse for hours. When police arrived on the scene, they found bullet holes and spent shells, but little else in the way of evidence. Skeptics suggest the family had simply misidentified a group of great horned owls. Even so, the incident remains one of the most thoroughly corroborated and documented cases of extraterrestrial contact. Often linked to Cherokee legend, some cite the Wampus cat as originating with the story of a woman who sought vengeance against a monstrous cat demon for driving her husband mad. She hunted it down, and by wearing a bobcat mask, tricked it into using its own vile magic on itself, freeing the people of their region from its evil. Others say the creature comes from the story of a woman who wore the pelt of a wildcat to witness forbidding hunting rites. The hunters of her village gathered to perform the rites, and she watched in secret from underneath the cat's pelt, but was soon discovered. For her indiscretion, she was fused with the pelt and transformed into a creature that was neither human nor cat, forced to wander the wilderness alone, feared by all. Her calls are those of great sadness, and serve as a warning to anyone who dares go against tradition. Okay, Tommyknockers, which I think is a movie, originated in Cornish mythology, spreading to the United States when Cornish immigrants began working in Appalachian mines. They're named for the knocking that can be heard from seemingly within the walls before a cave-in. According to some, the knocking serves as a benevolent warning. Others believe that the creatures take stolen hammers to the supports of mines and collapse them on whoever is unfortunate enough to still be inside. They are traditionally thought to be impish leprechaun-like beings, but some claim they are the spirits of dead miners, forever cursed to haunt their final resting place. This one's creepy. There was a hunter who lived in a tiny cabin in the middle of the woods, all alone with his hunting dog. One night, after a particularly bad week of hunting, both their stomachs empty, and the hunter spied something out of the corner of his eye. Some small creature had gotten into the cabin through a hole, and before he could even figure out what it was, he'd drawn his gun and fired at the thing, his hunger guiding his actions. But it was quick and ran back through its hidey hole and out of sight, leaving only its long black tail shot off by the hunter's rifle. "Guess this'll have to do," he said to his dog, and threw the tail into a pot to cook a soup. He and his dog ate well that night, the tail filling them both up. The hunter crawled into bed satisfied, and his dog curled up at his feet. He woke up to the sound of long nails scratching across wood. His dog was nowhere in sight, only a rumpled spot on the covers where he had been, and in the gloom he saw two big yellow eyes staring right at him. "I want my Taily-Po," a high, hoarse voice croaked from the darkness. "Go away," he screamed at the thing. But it stepped closer to him, still shrouded in darkness, the sound of long claws dragging across hardwood accompanying its movements. "I want my Taily-Po," the creature growled again. "I'll get my dog after you," the hunter squeaked, his voice catching in his throat with fear. But there was no dog to be seen. "I want my Taily-Po." Before the hunter could so much as scream, the creature leapt from the darkness, long claws stretched out towards the hunter. No one is sure what the creature did to him that night, but the next morning all that remained of the hunter, his dog, and his cabin was a chimney standing alone in the woods. You know, if that's all that remained, how do we know what happened? You closed the book and put it back. "I think I'm all done. Let's check in." All right, if we're going with what Kanika's mom told us last night, I think we can rule out any natural disasters as what brought the ditchlings here. But not nuclear incidents. Looks like our state has a history with those. What about y'all? Find anything? Ah, cat. Before you can respond, a handsome black cat leaps onto the table. Stella quickly slams her book shut. "Oh, hey, Pixel. You might want to close your book. He loves to rip up any paper he can find." It seems like a really terrible cat to have in a library. "Don't worry, little guy. I didn't forget your treats." Pixel immediately goes to town on Stella's treats. "Sorry if Pixel's bothering y'all. Hopefully he hasn't gobbled up any of our books. He can't stand the thought that people might pay attention to anything that isn't him." Why do you let a paper shredder freely wander a library? Have you seen the little guy's face? How can I say no to that? Oscar, easily. You decide to leave Pixel be. The cat curls up on the table, fast asleep. Alright, I'd better get back to shelving. Let me know if y'all need anything. Have you had any luck with Rosalina? Huh, not yet. I knew a teen would be a handful, but I didn't think it'd happen overnight. I'll probably head out once you're all done and check in on her usual haunts. Okay. Alright, let's talk about historical buildings of Scarlett Hollow. Oh my god, you read that? That book was assigned as punishment if we misbehaved in school. It's an excellent sleep aid. NyQuil and melatonin have nothing on historical buildings of Scarlett Hollow. Rumor has it that nobody has read it from cover to cover. You guys are missing out. It's one of my favorite books here. Such rich history. Guess we're just kindred spirits, pal. Har har, yeah, I read the boring book. We meant that as a compliment. Yeah, getting through that text is a testament to your iron will and steel eyelids. Stella, when were you going to tell me that the mayor is a dog? Darn, I was hoping it'd be a surprise. Scarlett Hollow hasn't had a human mayor since the 20s. Yeah, if you were hoping the mayor might be able to help us out here, you're out of luck. What happened to the estate? At some point, the hill it was built on started falling apart. I think it's pretty stable at this point, though. Is it? Stella, you've seen the place, and half of it is still mostly okay. Why don't people go to church here? We've just never really had a good pastor around these parts, not as long as I've been around, at least. And I'm not really much of a church person anyway. Who has the time? The building gives off weird vibes, too, and not in the fun, haunted way. Even the hospital here is named after my family. I know it's in the name, but calling it a hospital is generous. Right now, it's a one-woman medical clinic. If any serious emergencies happen these days, we've got to call an ambulance from out of town. That's where Reese and his mom live. She's the town doctor, though these days she doesn't really see a lot of patients. The Tremaine Homestead seems like the only thing here that doesn't have the Scarlett name stamped on it. Yeah, I think they've been around these parts even longer than your family, though they're the Tremaines and the Colloways now. They literally split their farmhouse in half over that schism. Duke, rest his soul, was one of the last two Calloways left. I guess it's just down to Bo now. I can't imagine what he's going through right now. So, about the coal mines here. Kanika visibly shudders. I get cold sweats just thinking about being in a place like that. I feel for the guys who work up there. I could never. Speak for yourself. I love a good crevice. Phrasing, Stella, phrasing. What happened after the mine collapse? The book just kind of glosses over that. There was a union for a little bit, but it didn't last. There's not a whole lot written about the past century here. Yeah, the Scarlett Hollow mine isn't exactly the most ethically run business. No offense or anything. I'm sure Tabby runs the mines better than Charles Shaw did. Still hasn't let the union in, though. There's a reason she and I don't talk. History tends to be written by winners. Maybe there's more to Charles Shaw's story than these dusty old books are letting on. Normally, I'd be inclined to agree with you there, but we're talking about an old-timey coal boss. I'd be shocked if he wasn't cutting corners. Poe does make a fair point. Shaw was certainly a problematic figure, but there might be other details that were lost to time. Sure, but the guy was run out of town on a rail. And that's not a figure of speech. Back then, they actually tied you to a rail and ran you out of town. There's a big mural of it over on the far wall. There he is. Oh, thank you for letting me know. I will pause. I do wish it somehow, told me when it was running an ad. Because, and it runs them different times, right? Because, I am monitoring my stream with my account that is not subscribed. But, I'm not getting an ad there right now. So, it's sort of one of these, I think everybody gets ads at different times sort of things. And I really wish, it allowed me to... I really wish it would allow me to not... to know when the ads are so that I wouldn't be doing anything important during the ads or anything like that. Because... I don't know, it's annoying, and especially with games like this where, where stuff matters, right? Where it matters that... people don't miss stuff, and I have no way to know when people are missing stuff or not. And sometimes people get an ad, and sometimes people get 5 ads in a row, which is pretty terrible. So I am not a fan of that for sure. Thank you. I paused as soon as I saw. I was just saying I really wish that it let me know when the ads were happening, but they don't happen for people at the same time, because I'm monitoring the stream with an account that's not subscribed, and that account is not seeing an ad. It's really weird, and I don't know how it calculates this or how it does this. So, but back to talking about unethical coal mines. But yeah, there's a big mural of him getting run out of town. He got off easy, if you ask me. A union-busting mine collapsed from poor working conditions. Color me shocked. Yeah, it's pretty awful. That's what that sculpture our front is for, commemorating all the men and children who died that day. Every kid in Scarlett Hollow learns about the collapse of 1918. Our teachers love to emphasize how many children they had working down there, Probably to try and show us how good we have it, or whatever. Low bar, if you ask me. You know, that could be what the ditchlings are warning us about. Another collapse. Writing it down on the list of potential disasters. Yeesh, Stella, that's morbid. And besides, it was all Charles Shaw's fault. The labor market is way more strict now. There's no way you can get away with that kind of safety cutbacks he pulled. Y'all don't actually think the mine's about to collapse, right? No, I don't think so. If you had me worried there for a second. I hate to give Tabitha any credit, but the mine is safer now than it was back then. Still, what a horrible thought. You never know. I agree with Stella. Maybe the ditchlings are warning us about another collapse. I really wouldn't put too much stock into that. Stella, what was that you were saying about nuclear incidents? You're talking about the Goldsboro thing, right? Yeah, apparently in the 60s, a B-52 carrying a live warhead broke up midair and dropped a couple of bombs. Fascinating bit of history there. The first of the 2 bombs landed upright after its parachute got caught in a tree. Thankfully, it didn't go off. At the time, the government claimed that the bomb was unarmed, but it later came out that the only thing preventing a detonation was a single electrical switch which failed to trigger on the descent. And 60 years later, the second bomb still hasn't been recovered. Right. Its conventional explosive disintegrated in midair, but most of the nuclear material was made unrecoverable by flooding. If I remember correctly, they just buried it and sealed it up. Goldsboro is over 300 miles from here. I don't think we have to be worried about that. Yeah, that's fair. It wouldn't make sense for ditchlings to be here specifically if that was the case, too. We also really shouldn't be looking too much into this whole disaster angle. Whatever those creatures are, they're biological. You never know with radiation. We actually know quite a bit. It just melts you. It doesn't make monsters. And a 60-year-old bomb isn't going to explode on its own hundreds of miles away and kill us here. You never know. There could always be a whole underground society of bomb-worshipping mutants just waiting to blow it up. I've missed this. You lean in and quietly whisper to Stella and Kanika. Do you guys think there's like a cult here? Maybe the ditchlings were like summoned as part of a ritual or something like that. I'd assumed the spiral we found was some sort of nest made by the ditchlings, but yeah, maybe we had cause and effect backwards. I'm writing it down. It's much more likely that the thing was a nest than it was some sort of magical ritual site. You know what? We didn't see. Maybe there was a seal there too. So, Silas Scarlett. What a revisionist biography. Really glossed over all the war crimes to paint a picture of a self-made man. It's a perfect example of why you should use multiple sources for your research instead of trusting the first thing you read on a subject. Yep, dude was a monster. Sorry you're related to him. Do you think the ditchlings are here for retribution? That seems tenuous. Assuming Kanika's mom is right, they're here as an omen, not because they're going to do something themselves. And I think we know how I feel on the matter. So, Appalachian folk monsters. Do you think the ditchlings are Tommyknockers? What's with the whole warning thing? Good thought, but Tommyknockers live in mines. That's like their whole thing. I'm gonna write it down, though. Tommyknockers are literally just the sound that happens when a bunch of rocks and wood are about to collapse. Are they? Or are they the sound of mysterious creatures pounding on the rocks and support beams with hammers to cause a collapse? There's simply no way to know. The Hopkinsville Goblins were silvery small and traveled in a pack. There's a lot of similarities to ditchlings there. Those are 100% confirmed aliens, though. Unless... The Hopkinsville Goblins were just a couple of owls some drunk farmers saw at 3 a.m. They're not aliens. And before you say it, no, ditchlings aren't aliens either. The whole implanting thing we saw last night feels consistent with stories about aliens. It's as consistent with stories about aliens as it is consistent with stories about parasites. And parasites just feel a lot more plausible to me. Come on, Neeks. Let a little joy into your heart. I'll let joy into my heart when this mystery is solved and I don't have to worry about some parasite is going to lay eggs in my skin. It's true. Well, someone has to be a skeptic, otherwise Stella is just going to run away with every idea ever, enthusiastically. It's part of why I kind of like Kanika more. Let's see. There's some striking similarities between Mothman and ditchlings. Both of them are portents of doom. Mothman. Love that guy. There's a whole subgenre of cryptids that serve as bad omens, but the disaster angle is definitely a clear connection. Maybe Mothman is what happens when a ditchling is all grown up. But they're already reproducing, and they don't have wings, and they're pale and blobby. They have a certain caterpillar vibe, don't they? Why am I even engaging with you on this? Portents of doom aren't real. Ombus cats kind of sound like it could be mountain lions. Voiced like a woman crying out somewhere between person-sized and cat-sized. Definitely. They're 100% mountain lions. Kanika, you know there are no mountain lions up here. I thought you were supposed to be a skeptic. But the myths are old, right? Mountain lions don't go extinct in the Appalachia that long ago. Those legends just haven't died off yet. Almost every cryptid can be tracked down to either a hoax or someone getting confused about a perfectly normal animal. Sometimes both. Bigfoot, for instance, started as a prank, and then folks saw bears walking around on their hind legs and got freaked out, and now here we are. You'll eat these words when I get the first clear footage of a Bigfoot. If you manage that, I will print out a piece of paper that says Bigfoot isn't real and literally eat it. I promise. I'm holding you to it. Why is the Jersey Devil even in this book? The Pine Barrens are specifically not in Appalachia. Because he's cool? The Jersey Devil is like the granddaddy of North American cryptids, and it's kinda close to Appalachia. Back when I was a kid, I always wanted one as a pet. Okay, that's creepy, Stella. My mom used to tell me that Talipo story back when I was little. I can't believe I forgot that one. It scared me so bad I didn't eat soup for years. I thought a monster might try and dig it out of my stomach if I did. I love that one. There's this old chimney in the woods that I used to think was the chimney from Talipo. The one that was left after the thing did whatever it did. Now I know it's just because chimneys don't burn down and wooden houses do. That doesn't mean it's not the chimney from Talipo. I've camped out there a couple of times and seen some pretty spooky stuff. Yeah, I watched that video. You saw raccoons. Okay, raccoons are spooky. You can get rabies one of these days chasing after wildlife like that. What can I say? I like to live on the edge. Well, good to know that there's a freestanding chimney in the woods, though. The Bell Witch sounds terrifying. Yeah, no kidding. Thankfully, she isn't real. And I've never heard of ginseng babies before this. Oh yeah, that myth is pretty buried. The author managed to unearth it for this book. Get it? But seriously, whoever wrote this book definitely stretched things out so they could include some of their favorite stuff. Like how the Jersey Devil is in it. Have you seen what ginseng roots look like, though? Creepy stuff. Creepy, but incapable of screaming. Yeah, that's one of those things that even I don't buy into. Let's move on. Do you think Wayne factors into any of this? That creep who keeps coming around my mom's tea room? He snuck up on us last night and called T'Pau by name. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with him. Maybe he's sick. Maybe that has something to do with what you saw in the woods. I don't know. I'd buy it. The mines are the obvious common thread between everything we've researched. Between Wayne, the old collapse, and the fact that the whole town practically been built around them, they're the smartest place to start our investigation. Good idea. There's an awful lot of miner-related stuff in my notes. We can poke around, find out if anyone's seen anything weird. Just to clarify, you two are suggesting we go to question some of the miners, right? We're not poking around unprepared in the actual mines, right? Right? Yeah, totally, 100%. I would never. We don't even have a good reason to go down there. Good. Let's keep it that way. You know how I feel about mines. I promise, Neeks, we're just going to question some of the miners. And if that questioning gives us good reason to poke around, say, a cool abandoned coal mine, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. You can cross that bridge when we come to it. I am not going underground. I'm just messing you. We'll stick to the surface. Yeah, and hopefully we can find out what happened to Wayne while we're at it. Maybe Tabitha can help us out. Huh, no. I don't think she'd be super jazzed to see any of us snooping around the mines. I can't imagine what she'd do if we actually bothered her while she's trying to run the place. She does get a little grumpy when she's at work. She gets grumpier at work. I'm pretty sure snark is that girl's baseline level of existence. Chatting over dinner might be a better way to get to know her. If you're okay eating boxed mac and cheese. We can sneak around the mines, no problem. I'll make sure to keep my eyes peeled for her. She won't even know we're there. Look at us, going out on a caper together. I missed this. I missed it too. I mean, sure, it's not under the best circumstances, but I've been so wrapped up in running the store, I didn't realize how much I missed being able to hang out with you. Though, there is something missing. Reese. I really miss that dude. I can't believe how long it's been since we've seen each other. Have you seen him lately? Nope. I've tried to plan stuff, but he's been too sick. I didn't realize it was getting so bad. That poor guy. You know, we could just pop over and surprise him. He seemed excited to meet T'Pau. Maybe we'll finally get him to leave his little cave. Hell yeah, let's do it. All right, let's roll out. See ya, Oscar. We'll let you know if we run into Rosalina. Thanks, guys. I'll keep y'all posted. So that's the hospital. Not creepy looking or anything. Like, totally at all. At all. Reese's home stands at the edge of the forest wall, an isolated buffer cushioning the rest of the town from the unending wilderness. Unlike several of the other entries in historical buildings of Scarlett Hollow, this one still looks mostly like it did in the book. Reese, it's Stella. I brought some buddies, too. Shh, not so loud. He's still sleeping. Can I help you with something? The woman in the doorway stares directly into your eyes. You can practically feel her simmering irritation washing over you. Hi, Dr. Kelly. We were wondering if it would be okay if Reese could come hang out. And suddenly, everybody is basically like 10, going like, can our friend come out and play? Like, clearly she just has that effect on people. Nothing strenuous, we promise. I am not going to wake him up. If he's sleeping, he probably needs it. Whatever you two have planned is probably beyond what he can manage right now anyways. Oh no, poor Reese. It's just been so long since either of us has gotten a chance to hang out with him. I'm sure he and T'Pau would get along super well, too. Wow, you've really done an incredible job maintaining this place. Excuse me? Oh, don't mind Pow. She's just a big fan of historical buildings of Scarlett Hollow. Dr. Kelly looks you up and down. You don't think you've done anything wrong, but she's certainly making you feel like you have. Reese's mom turns back to the house, sighing. Sorry, I know that was a little rude. You just want to hang out with Reese, and he misses both of you too. She sighs again, as if deciding whether to finish her thoughts. He's usually feeling his best around mid-afternoon. Why don't you come over tomorrow? We can have some supper, and y'all can hang out for a bit. I don't promise that he'll be perky, but I'm sure it'll brighten his spirits to see you two again. And I suppose you can come too, pal. That would be great. I can bring a side dish. Maybe deviled eggs? Does he still eat those? No. Eggs are a little much for him. They don't settle well. You can leave the cooking to me. I know what he can handle. Okay, I'll bring soda then. That's not... Okay, yes, fine. You can bring soda. Nothing with caffeine. Ginger ale preferably. Oh, and leave the dog at home. She might cheer him up. You know they have those therapy dogs in hospital. No dogs. Thanks so much, Dr. Kelly. We'll stop bothering you now. See you later. Dr. Kelly nods in acknowledgement and quickly shuts the door. The sound of several locks clicking into place can be heard from within. God, that woman makes me so nervous. I remember she used to be so nice and carefree when we were kids. She always had the best stickers when we had to get our shots. Maybe she's just stressed about Reese. Or maybe she's just nice to kids. Either way, I guess it's just the three of us. You gonna drive? Yeah, sorry. I don't like the thought of going up there without the van. Cool. I'll take my shortcut then. It shouldn't take long for me to get there. You're welcome to tag along, pal. Don't worry. I won't be offended if you'd rather ride with Kanika. I'm sure you're probably sick of the woods. Either way works for me. Why not just drive up with Kanika? Aren't the mines a bit of a way off? Don't worry about it, pal. There's a lot of junk in the back of my van. It'll get a little tight with more than 2 people. Okay, do I want to walk with Stella or ride with Kanika? Ugh, choices. I think I'll ride with Kanika. See you at the mines. Kanika is a careful driver, but her old van still bumps around the mountain roads. Sorry about that little diversion, but I'm glad it means we have solid plans with Reese. It's hard to get him to come out, and I don't think the isolation is good for his health, no matter what his mom says. You were pretty quick to cut in when I asked Stella about her thing with cars. Yeah, I guess I was. That's how her parents died. Car crash. She was in the car too, just some cuts and bruises, but she doesn't like cars and tries her best to stay away from them. I don't think she's ever going to actually leave this town. Has she seen someone? Like a therapist? Good luck finding a therapist within walking distance of Scarlett Hollow. I don't think that's something Stella'd go for anyway. She likes to solve her own problems. So what's actually going on with Reese? Good question. I wish I knew. His mom's been saying he's sick for years, and it's not like she's wrong about it. He's been a wreck the few times I've seen him. Sounds a little like factitious disorder. Yeah, I try not to think about that. Factitious disorder, by the way, is what you sometimes get in movies called Munchausen syndrome. Like when you are making yourself sick for the attention, or Munchausen by proxy, like when parents make their kids sick in order to get attention. It's pretty terrible. What's up with your brother? He's just... Yep, like the dad in Repo, exactly. He's just difficult. Have you ever had someone in your life who just can't seem to get their act together no matter how much you try to help them? Sometimes it feels like I can't trust him with the smallest bit of responsibility without him leaving a mess for me to clean up. Yeah, sounds like he has executive dysfunction and needs help. Don't get me wrong, he's family and I love the guy, but he sure doesn't make it easy. Have you ever thought about living somewhere else? Getting a little personal, huh? Okay. I love this town, don't get me wrong, but my presence here is temporary. My mom hasn't been too keen on running the general store since my dad died, and you've met Miles. I took some time off from school to help keep things running for a bit. I'm hoping to get back to it next spring. Let's skip the stupid thing. What were you in school for? Becoming a vet, actually. I was at the top of my class, too. Vet school, just like Stella's mom. You know, I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, I guess you're right. You'd be a great vet. I've seen how you are with Gretchen. Aw, shucks. I was really into biology during undergrad, and growing up around Stella and her mom gave me a special kind of love for animals. Do you have any other theories on what's going on aside from what we talked about at the library? I don't know. I don't think there's enough information yet to support any strong conclusion. Though I've been wondering if what you two saw may be some sort of mutated animal, like a strain of hairless monkeys or raccoons or something. Do you know about Morgan Island? It's off the coast of South Carolina, and there's a whole population of rhesus monkeys infected with herpes. Like 4,000 of them. Maybe the ditchlings are some sort of alopecia research monkeys. Which sounds ridiculous now that I've said it out loud. Forget I said anything. Those things were not monkeys. I saw them with my own eyes, and they were way too messed up to be anything like monkeys. I mean, that doesn't rule out lab monkeys, right? Could be that whatever made them hairless also caused weird swellings or altered their proportions. But like I said, we don't have anywhere near enough information. Yeah, I'm not going to tell her to drive me out of town. You and Kanika sit in silence for the last few minutes of the ride. You and Kanika arrive at the mines before Stella. Stella's probably going to be another couple of minutes. Hey, y'all. How was the ride? I'm going to put Gretchen down for a sec. Did you run here? Yep, felt like getting a run in. I didn't want to keep y'all waiting. You didn't run into any of those creatures, did you? Nope. That makes sense. They're probably nocturnal. I don't know if I should feel relieved or disappointed. But we're all here. What's the plan? I guess we just go talk to people. I guess so. Alright, so it is 11:55, so I probably should get going. I do want to once again mention that I am fundraising for NAMI. So let me go back to this screen. I am fundraising for NAMI, and today is kind of like the start of my fundraiser, so not a lot of exciting things have happened quite yet, but I did want to talk a little bit about a little bit about what I'm doing, right? So I have this fundraiser going all month. We have some fun incentives. I'm hoping to for every $5 donation, I'm going to write the donor's name on the back of some origami paper. I'm going to make a little crane. I'm going to string them up and hang them off of my backdrop, my green screen that's behind me, because as we probably all heard, making 1,000 cranes makes you kind of brings you good luck, makes you get a wish and stuff like that. So I have a hope of getting lots and lots of paper cranes up. Anybody who donates $25 gets I'm gonna change into my Pegacorn, which is a Pegasus and a unicorn onesie, to play for an hour. So mere $25 donation will get me in a really dorky onesie. Anybody who donates $50 will get a handwritten letter from me to you, and these are all unlimited. For the limited rewards, the first 2 people who donate $75 will get a hand knit hat. You get to pick a color, and I will get yarn and hand knit you a hat. And you'll have to let me know if you want wool or synthetic or what. And then there's only one of these, but for a $100 donation, I will use my loom, and I will use my chenille yarn, and I will weave you a scarf on my loom. I even have all the supplies, so it won't even take that long. But there's only one of those donations, because I'm not gonna promise many of the scarves, because that way lies not fulfilling things. So those are our rewards, and I totally need to like make a a thing to be able to post them neatly, because why be prepared for this fundraiser? But I do have all month, so that's okay. Anyway, everybody should look at the links, and look at the fundraising campaign that my team and I are working on, and support NAMI. It's a great organization. Let's see, are we raiding anybody? Is anybody playing? I don't think anybody's playing for us to raid, so we are gonna not. We're gonna not do that. And I will be back definitely on Tuesday, but will try to see if I'm gonna be able to stream a little bit more later today. Maybe I do have a bunch of games, but yeah, I'm gonna need to save my save the game here, and then we will get more of the game happening next time I am on. Hope everybody has a great Sunday and a great start to their May, and I will see y'all later.